Imagine this. A plastic water bottle you just finished drinking could take up to 450 years to decompose if discarded into the environment. During that time, it may drift into the ocean, break down into millions of microplastic particles, enter the bodies of marine creatures, and eventually make its way back into your own glass of water. It sounds horrifying, but this is the reality happening every single day. Why has bottled water become so popular? Even though we know plastic is a major environmental problem, bottled water remains widely favored for three main reasons. First, bottled water offers unmatched convenience. Almost anywhere, from supermarkets and convenience stores to vending machines and gas stations. For many, it feels like a safer alternative to tap water, especially in areas where the public water system is unreliable or of questionable quality. Second, there's a common misconception that bottled water is always purer and cleaner than tap water. The image of a clear plastic bottle labeled with a majestic mountain or pristine glacier taps into our emotions, making us believe we're drinking nature at its purest form. Third, the branding power behind bottled water is incredibly strong. Every day, everywhere we go, we're bombarded with emotional advertising, snowy peaks, untouched wilderness, all reinforcing the idea that bottled water is absolutely pure. With messaging like that, how can anyone resist? These factors have propelled the bottled water industry into a multi-billion-dollar giant. In 2022 alone, the world consumed over 350 billion liters of bottled water. That's more than 23 million bottles every single hour. Is bottled water really safe for human health? The answer is no, and growing body of scientific evidence supports this. A recent study published by the U.S. National Academy of Sciences, NAS, revealed that each liter of bottled water contains an average of 240,000 plastic particles, 100 times more than previously reported. This alarming discovery has raised serious concerns about the health risks associated with bottled water consumption. To conduct the research, scientists used a cutting-edge technique called stimulated Raman scattering, SRS, microscopy, which involves scanning water samples with two lasers to induce molecular vibrations. These are then analyzed using advanced computer algorithms to identify and quantify the plastic content. The results were staggering. Bottled water from three leading global brands contained between 110,000 to 370,000 plastic particles per liter, with an average of around 240,000 particles. Approximately 90% of these were nanoplastics, and the remaining 10 were microplastics. In contrast, previous techniques could only detect about 300 nanoplastic particles per liter, vastly underestimating the true scale of contamination. In addition, the most commonly found types of plastic in bottled water are nylon, which may originate from plastic filters used during the purification process, and polyethylene terephthalate, PET, the standard material used to manufacture plastic bottles. According to the lead researcher, PET particles can break down into even smaller fragments when a bottle is opened and closed repeatedly, squeezed or exposed to high temperatures. The research team also extended their study to tap water, which was found to contain microplastics as well, albeit at lower concentrations. This study has shed light on the hidden risks of consuming bottled water. Micro and nanoplastics can carry chemical activities that disrupt the body's natural hormone regulations, potentially leading to cancer and endocrine disorders. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, microplastics pose multiple health risks, including inflammatory response in human cells, immune system disruption, hormonal imbalances and reproductive issues, and increased risk of cancer. What's more, that plastics may carry toxic chemicals such as bisphenol A, BPA, and phthalates commonly used in plastic manufacturing, which have been linked to endocrine disruption, fatal abnormalities, breast and prostate cancer. Most worryingly, many consumers are unaware that they are ingesting plastic on a daily basis. A US based scientific report found that over 90% of bottled water samples tested contained plastic particles, triggering a global wave of concern over the safety of bottled water. Environmental impact from plastic waste to excessive groundwater extraction. If health risks are the immediate concern, the environment bears the long-term consequences. Every year, the bottled water industry generates tens of millions of tons of plastic waste. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, only about 9% of the plastic is recycled. The rest is either landfilled, incinerated, or ends up in the ocean. As a result, it's estimated that every minute, the equivalent of one garbage truck full of plastic is dumped into the sea, a place where hundreds of thousands of marine creatures die from ingesting or becoming entangled in plastic waste. Many of us may still remember the tragic case of young Cuvier's beaked whale that washed ashore in Mindanao Island, Philippines in March 2019. Marine biologists and volunteers from the Deep Bone Collector Museum in Davao City were shocked when they examined the animal and discovered the cause of death: 40 kilograms of plastic waste, including rice sacks, supermarket grocery bags, fruit wrappings from banana plantations, and other household trash, all of which had blocked the whale's digestive system and led to its death. A year earlier in 2018, a pilot whale became stranded in a canal in Songkhla province, southern Thailand, and died after swallowing over 80 plastic bags. Among them were plastic bottles just like the ones we drink from every day. A horrifying reality. However, there is an even more silent and alarming consequence of bottled water: the growing global risk of water scarcity caused by excessive groundwater extraction. Bottled water companies often drill deep wells to extract clean groundwater in areas ranging from rural villages in India to low-income regions of the United States, and even in the Amazon rainforest. They purchase extraction rights at extremely low costs, bottle the water, and sell it for hundreds of times more. This practice is contributing to multiple water crises around the world. Here are a few examples. In India, Nestle has been accused of draining groundwater reserves in Uttar Pradesh, forcing local residents to wait in line all day just to collect a few buckets of clean water. In South Africa, several communities suffer from severe drought, yet bottling factories continue extracting water to sell to tourists. In the United States, particularly in California, households had their water supply restricted during a historic drought, while bottled water companies were allowed to operate under the claim of legal permits. Over-extractions of groundwater not only depletes vital water resources, but also leads to land subsidence, saltwater intrusion, and the destruction of underground ecosystems, according to the latest report from the World Meteorological Organization, WMO, in 2023. Approximately 3.6 billion people, nearly half the global population, are facing water scarcity for at least 1 month each year. By 2025, this number is projected to exceed 5 billion, or about 2/3 of the world's population. In addition, data from the United Nations shows that as of 2022, around 2.4 billion people, roughly 1/4 of the global population, still lack access to safely managed drinking water services. These alarming figures reflect a growing global water crisis, demanding urgent attention and coordinated action for the internal community. How is the world grappling with a global water crisis? The United Nations has described the current water crisis as a silent emergency. That's because only 5% of the Earth's total water is usable fresh water, yet the global population keeps rising while clean water sources are increasingly polluted, overexploited, and unequally distributed. Vietnam's VUSTA organization warns bottled water is masking a global thirst. While the poor struggle to access safe drinking water, corporations profit from public resources, bottling them and selling them at high prices to the wealthy. What must humanity do before it's too late? We need to face the truth. Bottled water is not the solution, it's part of the problem. As individuals, we must limit our use of bottled water unless absolutely necessary. Carry a reusable bottle and refill it from filter sources. Support environmentally responsible businesses that use biodegradable, recyclable, or eco-friendly packaging. Governments should strictly regulate the licensing of groundwater extraction, impose taxes on single-use plastics, or implement bottle return for refund systems to promote recycling. Mandate transparent disclosure of bottled water contents and quality testing, requiring companies to clearly state the levels of microplastics and residual chemicals in their products. The international community must work together to share water resources, especially in the transboundary regions. Increase investment in water filtration technology, recycling systems, and sustainable public water infrastructure. The world needs bolder campaigns like zero plastic waste and stronger plastic taxes, initiatives already being adopted by many European nations. One bottle, one conscience. We can't continue consuming bottled water unconsciously. Every bottle you drink today may mean another community goes thirsty, another marine creature stops breathing, and your body absorbs thousands more microplastic particles. Change starts with each person, each small action. That's the only way to save our planet from a global thirst, both literally and metaphorically. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mr. Know-It-All. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.